Hey everyone, thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel and go over to our home, doubletoasted.com, for more videos and live streams. And remember, stay toasty. You know, how y'all doing today? Y'all, anything I should ask y'all before we start?
Anything you got to tell us?
Oh shit!
I'm scared.
Ask us.
I don't like this music, man.
Well, that means that there's spirits afoot, Martin. Oh shit!
That's all right.
You want to get that Ghostbusters walk?
Yeah.
You mean that
The cartoon?
Yeah. that overly animated walk.
Yeah, you mean that cartoon when that Ghostbusters with Jive walking down the street? I used to love that shit, man.
Does he not have a name?
Logo. There he is right there. Motherfucker pimp walking down the street. Yeah. Excuse me. You know, Ghostbusters, man. It's got a lot of memories for people out there. Many incarnations have been done about the Ghostbusters. A lot of them. And you know, most people haven't even complained about it. But once you put a little estrogen in there,
Yeah, I don't like that.
once you put some female parts up in there, people go off. They get raw about it. As they said, one of the funniest lines in the movie to me, like, ain't no bitches gonna hunt no ghosts.
That was the greatest line.
I love it. So, you know, there's been a whole controversy about this. Man, why y'all shoving feminism down my throat? Can't I just get my Ghostbusters the old-fashioned way with a big bowl of dick? You know, that's pretty much what y'all saying. That's pretty much what y'all saying. Y'all don't, y'all love women until, they come in and do something kind of cool and y'all want a big old penis with it.
Without latent homoerotic tones, I can't enjoy it as much.
I can't stand it. Even if the movie's similar to what you have out there, you don't like it. And really, this Ghostbusters of 2016 is not too much different from what you had before. Not really, besides, vagina up in there. But other than that, it's not too different. You have here New York, where it was before. New York starts to experience a sudden and mysterious series of ghost sightings. And now here's where it veers off. You get only two women. Dr. Erin Gilbert. The whole city is plagued by benevolent spirits. And I'm going to tell you something about this. Now, I'm not taking any sides on any of this. I ain't got no ghost up in this fight, Martin. I can kind of see both sides of everything right here. I understand the backlash because let's just admit it. I mean, whether you want to backpedal or not, let's all just agree that trailer was not too good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that trailer was really bad.
It was two bad trailers, actually. The first one misled people to thinking like this was going to be another sequel.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Which it wasn't. Even Melissa McCarthy had to say, what the fuck are y'all doing?
Wasn't that the one that had Answer the Call or something?
Yeah, exactly. And then they released another, all right, we clarified it's a reboot, but y'all still had shitty jokes up in there.
Okay, you sweaty freaks, I'm about to save you from this ghost! Okay, so I don't know if it was a race thing or a lady thing.
Nope, still don't believe, still not buying it. It still looks like bullshit to me. And like I said, I don't blame people because, for one, and we got to admit that who can actually come in and replace the chemistry that we had with the original Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters.
Hey, anybody see a ghost?
They catch the ghost that won't stay dead.
We're talking about these guys, Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd, who wrote the movie, got the buddies in there, Bill Murray.
And that's Bill Murray at the top of his powers.
And that's Bill Murray at his prime. And I even throw Ernie Hudson in there. They said, we just need a black dude in here. We don't know him, but hey, we'll take one.
We got to meet criteria.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We got a quota to get here. Some other people, who was the little nerdy guy in there?
Rick Moranis.
Rick Moranis. A lot of these guys, they already built up a lot of chemistry before this project. They knew each other from Saturday Night Live, Second City Television.
Second City TV, yeah.
And so this movie is successful because it's one of the most successful movies at being able to improv because it's just with those friends where it ain't about the ghost.
No, they could have been doing anything. They could have been scuba divers.
Exactly. But I'm going to tell you this. that's still kind of bullshit right there, because as Martin has tried to tell y'all over and over again, for all y'all who are mad about, man, they changed the Ghostbusters. They didn't change shit. They just put women in there. Think about it. Think about how I'm talking about, y'all don't even know, I'm talking about true old school Ghostbusters fans were back when they had a gorilla.
This is my Ghostbusters.
That's your Ghostbusters.
We're the Ghostbusters. I'm Spencer. He's Tracy. I'm Carl. We're the Ghostbusters. We're clever, courageous, and strong.
It was still stupid as fuck.
What the hell is that?
It was a Saturday morning cartoon and live action show, and it would come on toward the end of the it was, I guess around like the 9 o'clock. Like most of the cartoons you liked had already come on.
Yeah.
And you were like waiting out that point till Fat Albert came on. So this would come on that time.
This came out 9 years before the Ghostbusters that you know from '84. It was 1975, and this is by Filmation, the animation company that did Fat Albert and a bunch of other stuff.
But Sid and Marty Krofft was doing live action shows, so they figured like, hey,
they
we
were
might as well
doing
do
live
something.
action shows, and look, I'm gonna tell you, I can see why they remade it. Actually, it's a whole coincidence that they even had to go in and
clarify
and get the title and everything. I mean, because look, I don't blame people for saying, all right, at least Ghostbusters, the one from '84, did something different, because that show was a piece of shit.
Oh yeah, it was horrible.
It just so happens that Tracy here bowled a perfect game, 300 pins.
Well, a lot of people have done that.
With one ball?
That stupid ass laugh track. Like, anybody be laughing at that shit right there.
I mean, it was just grabbing those two guys from the show F Troop. It's like, oh, you guys got chemistry. We'll put you in the show. You're cheap.
And a motherfucker in a gorilla suit. For some reason.
Because that was during a time when gorilla suits were popular. They also made an animated version of this.
Oh, that's the thing about this. That's the reason why you got the real Ghostbusters, because the whole mix-up of, you had the Ghostbusters from back in the day with the live-action one, and then it's just a coincidence that the Ghostbusters that we know today, they had a bunch of names. They're like Ghost Stoppers, Ghost Fuckers, I don't know. And then they said, and then somebody came with Ghostbusters, and it's like, excuse me, they already got somebody with that name. And they had to pay for the rights. So they bought the rights from Filmation, and Filmation let them make the movie. And when the movie was a hit, they're like, shit, we gonna make some money with this.
Let's go!
Also, an equally piece of shit right there.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it existed, but I never watched any of it.
Oh, no, I watched that thinking it was the other one. I was like, oh, we're about to see some. Wow, they fucked me over.
No, they got to do shit that they couldn't do in the live action one, but it was still a piece of shit. It was bad. It was really bad. Just a little bit of nostalgia for you folks out there. So here's y'all talking about, man, they changing my Ghostbusters.
It wasn't your Ghostbusters.
Martin been over here crying for months. He's like, well, where's my gorilla at? Martin.
It wasn't named Tracy?
Yeah.
Where's Tracy?
Yeah, when Leslie Jones showed up, I thought, oh, they're doing my Ghostbusters.
Oh, no.
Oh, come on. You were going to say it if I did.
I was not ever going to say that, Martin. I was never going to say that shit. Excuse my racist friend on me, my self-hating black friend over here who can't tell the difference between a monkey suit and a lovely lady. But Martin's like,
why'd you just throw it on?
Martin's like, ain't that 2016 right there? Martin, you shame. You were ashamed, Martin. And you know what? In second thought, fuck Martin. Don't you give him that gorilla. And so I'm happy to come in and say that the movie was off to a very good start. I thought it was very funny when it began. I mean, one of the things that I like about this is that what chemistry we're talking about with Dan Aykroyd, Bill Murray, Harold Ramis, and even Ernie Hudson, this movie in the beginning felt like that. You had Kristen Wiig and Kate McKinnon, and especially Melissa McCarthy. Melissa McCarthy comes in, and she's pulled back. She's more of a den mother in this movie. Kristen Wiig, she's actually playing this nerdy but not real goofy character. And what they're doing is, because it's so kind of pulled back a little bit, it's concentrating on that relationship, that camaraderie between these Ghostbusters.
Well, just like with the original Ghostbusters, because Kristen Wiig and Melissa McCarthy have worked together before, they have real chemistry. Like they're separated and they're angry at each other, and then they come together. Once they decide to work together, it's instantly the movie is just about them. Kate McKinnon, she's kind of in the way. She's got this goofy character that I was just like, wow, you kind of don't know what to do here.
Dude, she's my favorite character in the movie. Oh yeah, I love Kate McKinnon.
I'm looking at you, I'm like, what?
She's concerned.
Excuse me.
I felt nothing.
And
Leslie
Jones like, call me a gorilla again, motherfucker.
Actually, I like Leslie Jones a lot. I mean, for her to come in, it's like she's the odd man out, and unlike being like, not like being like Ernie Hudson, where people go like, yeah, there was a black Ghostbuster, I guess. She really came in and owned her place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I thought, she's kind of like Tracy Morgan, like she's going to be there, she's going to be funny. You can be funny also, but she's going to keep up with you, even if she's not part of your group. But I thought she integrated well and held her own. But yeah, I had a problem with Kate McKinnon the whole time.
Did you? I did not. I thought all of them at the beginning they were getting along very well. I thought that they were pulling together and being a team, and I saw how this was coming together, even though I had some problems with some of them. I'll elaborate on that in a little bit. I thought that this was coming together very well from the humor perspective of the movie. They even had some running jokes I like in there. They had that joke where Melissa McCarthy could never get that delivery service to bring her soup right. Mm-hmm. I thought there was some, like, as far as running jokes in there, cool. And some, and I'm going to say not every supporting character works in this, but there are some that I like a lot. Mainly that of Chris Hemsworth as Kevin. That's his name in the movie, right, Kevin?
Yeah, Kevin. Yeah.
Kevin is so fucking retarded in this movie. It's like he should be a ghost because he shouldn't even be alive right now.
Right.
He should have walked into a manhole a long time ago.
Or just forgot to breathe.
Oh, yeah. Man, he is that dumb. He should be wearing diapers in adult care right now. And normally a character like that, I look at that and I say, because we've seen characters that have been played too dumb in movies. But for some reason, Chris Hemsworth, he's a goofy character that is not played goofy. He's so earnest with what he says.
And it's also implied that he's just so handsome. That's how he's gotten by in life.
Yeah, nobody's told him, like, no, you're doing this wrong. They're like, no, you got it.
It's like,
let me help you.
He's a typical blonde.
Yeah.
Everybody let him get by without letting him like have to think about anything, and they have just stunted his mental growth. But he's a
mimbo.
Yeah, exactly. But he's so earnest, he's so serious. But he believes every dumb piece of shit that comes out of his mouth, and he sells that character.
Hey guys, which one of these makes me look more like a doctor?
Who was on the phone?
The Stonebrook Theater. There's a goat on the loose.
I just want to give him a juice box and a coloring book and give him a hug, but that would be too advanced for him. So you got to be careful. But
he'd probably eat the coloring book.
He'd eat the book and try to color the glass and juice. This dude is he's very funny. It's one of the most endearing performances I've seen from Chris Hemsworth. And I tell you, a lot of people they're nitpicking on the movie in some areas too. Like I know. And I know you were telling me the other day that you hated that song in the movie.
Man, that Fall Out Boy Missy Elliott
remix. Man, once it's in the movie, I didn't even notice. Man, it's a remix of the original Ghostbusters song. But once they started going, I didn't care.
Yeah, I didn't even notice it.
I didn't even notice it.
It's just like typical movie music.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go. Oh, did you want to? Sorry, I'll let you. Next time.
I'll let you know. They put it in the movie well, but listen to the song by itself, and then you'll be like, all right, this is garbage. Exactly. Well, exactly.
But there's no reason for me to do that.
Yeah, you don't need to do it. But don't put yourself through that, man.
I heard it already. I'm good.
No, exactly.
It's good in the movie.
You got them talking over and it turned down. Listen to it by itself, you'll be like, all right, I understand now.
I'm all right, man. It's good.
Yeah.
But I will tell you this. It is about at that point where the movie Everything I Feared started to come to fruition.
Yeah, at the point when they started busting, they were just more like busters, not Ghostbusters.
People, look, I'm gonna tell you something, man. I told you, I don't care. I'm all about quality. I'm all about my opinions about a movie. I don't care what y'all casted in there. It could have been 4 gay dudes Ghostbusters in there. I don't give a fuck.
Idea.
Ectoplasm.
No. There we go. Everywhere. Yeah. There you go, 2032. Gay Ghostbusters. And what y'all do for some? But up until then, man, right now, that's where this movie starts to really bust at the seams here. This movie starts to y'all know. Shut the fuck up. Y'all know I didn't mean anything.
Shut up, nothing. You did that shit on purpose.
I didn't. Did they get it? but you say busted makes me feel good. But The hell are you doing over there? Busted up this fucking studio. What you doing?
We'll try to move like he ain't do nothing.
I know.
It's like a cat that slips off of a stool.
Yeah. Did you see him cross his legs and everything? Like, what was that?
Do continue, sir.
I must have been a ghost. I don't know. so you man. But at that point, the more this movie starts to be a blockbuster, where they start to bring the effects, where they start to actually force some things, is where it really starts to show its weakness. The biggest of that is that one of the things that bothers me, if you're gonna do a reboot, or if you're gonna do a remake, a reimagining, and if you're gonna anything, then be confident in it. Stand on your own. This movie wants to be. They're telling you how we got our own thing going on. We're the new Ghostbusters. We can stand on our own. No, you cannot. Because this movie spends so much time throwing back to the original. I mean, there's dialogue, there's jokes, there's cameos that are going on. This movie does not have the confidence to be its own thing.
Yeah, for all of you who wanted a reuniting of your old Ghostbusters to come back, they're there.
Yeah, exactly.
Surprise.
You get them all, the original cast.
Now you know why I'm going to know about fan service.
Oh, my God.
Because,
dude, every 10 minutes in this, something.
The whole second half is just fan service, the movie.
It's fan service. I mean, they forcing some shit. I mean, you got somebody like, I ain't afraid of no ghosts. It feels so awkward when they try to do that. It's bad.
It's cringeworthy.
Yeah, exactly. I did that and I'm just like,
The editing was so shitty on this movie. I mean, it's kind of bad even in the good parts. But once it got to that point, all of it was horrible. And it was so many places where it felt like they cut right where a punchline was supposed to be. And with his, it felt like there was supposed to be a punchline there, and they just cut it. And all the action stuff just cuts from one thing to the next so quickly. It just felt super choppy. And somebody would be here 1 minute and over there, and it was daytime, and then suddenly it was the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And then the next scene.
Oh, there was a scene in the middle of the night, and they cut after they were done doing some big shit. It was noon.
Okay, I thought about that too when we were watching. I was like, maybe what was happening was something was blocking out the sun.
So
but I was like, all right, I kind of let it pass. But if I have to think that hard about it, you probably shouldn't have put it in the movie.
Well, so here's the thing about that though. Like, even if that had happened, like there were lights on in the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
Like street lights on, and street lights don't come on until it's actually nighttime.
It was obviously night, and if for some reason it just jumped to day, they really don't start to think about it. They lack everything. Because here's the thing about the film. I'm glad you brought the editing, because one thing with the editing, you're right. They would say something, they would just end right after a punchline. They let it really sink in. And here's what I really hate about this kind of comedy: the reason why the chemistry is not there is because once they start to pile on a lot of the stuff that is summer blockbustery, then that's when the movie starts to become more sketch comedy instead of improvisational comedy or relying on the chemistry of these characters. That's when you start to get things like one of the things I hate in comedies like this is where they do the awkward reaction shot, the mugging shot, with somebody saying something. They cut somebody like, they roll their eyes. I hate that kind of shit. It feels very amateurish to me. And when you look, I don't normally do this. I would love to let this movie stand on its own. But if you're gonna really throw back to the original that much, let's just say why this isn't working. And it's what a lot of people feared, minus those, the people with their sexist agendas here. A lot of people had valid points where they said, I'm afraid that you're going to come in and you're going to try to be so much like the original instead of being your own thing, and you're not going to be able to do it because you're not going to be able to be those guys.
How hard can it be? We'll just throw some things in, some special effects, blah, blah, blah. There you go.
Here's one of the things, and I'm just going to be honest with you right here. This movie's heavily flawed. I don't care what you're coming in here with, but it's a heavily flawed movie. And I think one of the best things to happen to this film, it's going to sound sexist of me, but I'm being serious about this. I think the best thing that happened to it is they had those internet trolls out there. I think because a lot of people, because it's not a complete train wreck, because it's not a complete disaster like people wanted it to be, like there actually are some good moments here, some people are going to be happy about that. And they're just going to want to come in and defend it because it's got some decent parts in it. There's going to be a lot of people come in and be like, all right, you know what, just to tell those trolls out there to suck it, I'm going to come in and give an okay movie, a little bit more of a pass.
Right, right.
And the other thing about this is that they don't even follow the rules of Ghostbusting that they set up before.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, that once you get to this part, they haven't set up rules. They haven't followed them, so there's no stakes. It's like, well, whatever we say we want to do, we'll just do.
Yeah, they're actually killing ghosts, but I don't know how you kill a ghost.
Yeah, they rope them and throw them, but they're not trapping them.
Yeah, you know.
Like, how does this work?
But they never brought in the trapdoors to capture them. They just killed them mysteriously.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like we like, oh, we need to have this when we catch this ghost, but when we get to the end, he's like, oh, we could just kind of hit them against each other and they'll just disintegrate. I'm like, I don't think you know your own rules.
Yeah, they would just bowl them again. They would slam them to the ground and shit, and they just go up and puff the smoke. I think it's okay. I don't think, because a lot of people are trying to give it a pass who say, man, this time the ghost are really scary. No, the ghost is goofy as fuck. All right, come on. Let's stop.
I think for kids it'd be scary, but not so scared they'll have like nightmares about it.
Oh, it'll work. Trust me.
And the other thing too, with that scene right there, especially, is they show a scene in the movie where it's saying, "Hey, we're struggling for funding. Like we don't have all this stuff, but somehow y'all managed to make like multiple nuclear weapons in a manner of, like in a week."
Yeah, and where are you getting the stuff to make nuclear grade weapons?
Yeah,
man?
like the Taliban can't even get their hands on it, but you can just get it at a swap meet or some shit.
Yeah, these chicks are goddamn terrorists, man.
Yeah, basically.
Shit, ISIS is calling in. You got fucking. Anyway. By the way, that's Taliban talk.
Spider holes. Bye.
But now I'm gonna be on the terrorist list for that shit. But
Great.
You know, I think for those people who go in, and the people that go see a blockbuster just to get out of the house, go see a movie, it's just like any other film out there that does that. At the same time, it retains the mediocrity of every other film that's like that. This is not too different. And you know what? And that's what I mean by, if you're consistent, if you're a moviegoer who's not had the same complaints that we've had, and you go see this and you're like, hey, I had a good time, so be it. But if you're a critic who's complained about the mediocrity of this kind of comedy and also how these blockbusters are, this is the same thing. And I don't think it should get no matter what kind of social statement you're going to make by saying giving us a pass, it shouldn't be given that for that. I think it's a rental. It's just an average rental. I've seen this movie over and over again, and by the way, I've seen it better when it was done in 1984.
What was it called then?
What's that?
What was it called then?
Ghostbusters, man.
Okay, let's say that.
Ghostbusters. Thank you. Come on, like, I can't hear. Louder. Ghostbusters.
I think you're right, man. Mediocrity is the best way to describe this movie. Like with the first 2/3 of it, I was like, yeah, like I'm writing this is a solid matinee. I can get with this. Maybe it can get better or it can get worse. And it just flew off a cliff with the last third of this movie, man. And I could agree with you 100%, dude. This is a rental, an average rental.
Yeah.
For everybody who was hoping to get a good Ghostbusters movie again, I guess you got to wait another 20 years or so, because this just wasn't it. It comes down to being just a rental.
Yeah. You're gonna watch this, and if your expectations were low, you're gonna be the ones to probably benefit the most. Your expectations got to be real low.
I mean, keep in mind, like especially with you say Leslie Jones. Like I was sitting next to two Rumberg chicks, and they were getting.
So you were sitting next to
her.
Leslie Jones,
basically. Like say every time she came, the devil. Like you see it in the trailer. She's like, the devil is alive. It goes like, whoa, child, yeah, she's hilarious.
Yeah, you tell him.
I was sitting next to her. I was like, my God, kill me.
It's weird because it does have something for everybody. Like I'm not somebody who remembers the original Ghostbusters all that well, where you can remember stuff that was in the first one. So I was like, all right, I'm just watching as somebody who doesn't know. But like, there's some people who are going to be like you, who love the old Ghostbusters and go like, nah, man, I've seen that before. Other people who loved it, who saw stuff from the old one, and they were clapping and cheering.
Yeah. Slimer pops up.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I've been waiting 20 years for this. Martin, but I'm still working on it. We're gonna get you that gorilla, Martin.
We could borrow from Julian with his monkey in the gun.
It's bad when the Ghostbusters from 1975 looks more interesting than what we just saw. When a man in a gorilla suit looks way better than what we just saw. Maybe not.
Oh, but wait till they do the live action version of that one.
I would not.
You gonna see, son?
No, I will not. You know what though? You say I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan. I'm not. I really am not. Here's how nerdy I am. Back when people were geeking out over Ghostbusters, I was geeking out over Gremlins. When people going to see. When people going to see Ghostbusters over and over, I was going to see Gremlins. I saw Gremlins 4 or 5 times in the theater.
I did too.
And I was that dude. When everybody's talking like, man, you mean I seen the Ghostbusters when they did that? Oh yeah. And I came out, hey, but what about Gremlins? Get your ass on that
lame ass that playing with Furbies. Get out of here.
Shut up. But But no, I really do like Ghostbusters. I do love the film. I have a better appreciation for it years later, and I've seen it several times. But I can't claim to be a big fan like other people.
Yeah.
Unlike our man Will over here,
our resident
Buster.
This fool tried to actually so he brought himself a proton pack. Look, and he thought he was gonna trick me into like invoicing that shit. No, it's for you, bitch.
That's for your cosplay.
I know, right? He's like, hey, if I bring it for the show, can I know? And then the day come with a Target bag. Yeah, I just what I'm talking.